Let me tell you about a man who once observed, "It is more dangerous to be a friend to the powerful than to be an enemy." Lucius Annaeus Seneca. Chapter 1. The Invisible Blade. Invisible blades. Your enemies rarely announce themselves. Far more often, they smile then silently bleed you dry. We shall explore this quiet, insidious destruction. The world tells you conflict is loud, that enemies declare themselves, that danger presents itself with a clear challenge. This is a lie, a dangerous fantasy that leaves you exposed. Right now, you are bleeding resources, your ambitions undermined by invisible blades wielded by smiling faces. 2,000 years ago, Vlad the Impaler understood what most still refuse to see. The true threat often comes not from open war, but from the slow, unseen corrosion of hidden animosity. This quiet hatred is far more destructive than any declared enemy. It doesn't confront you, it undermines you. It will not yell, it will whisper, sowing doubt, manipulating perceptions, and subtly altering the battlefield to ensure your eventual downfall. You operate with blind spots, trusting those who actively work against your interests, unaware of the silent poison seeping into your foundation. Think about that colleague who always agrees with your face, then subtly discredits your ideas behind your back. Or the friend who offers superficial congratulations for your wins, only to immediately pivot to a story of someone else's greater success, or worse, points out a minor flaw in your triumph. These aren't harmless interactions. They are subtle, strategic attacks designed to chip away at your confidence and your standing. The insidious nature of this secret animosity lies in its deception. These individuals present themselves as allies, or at least neutral parties, offering just enough pleasantries to keep you from suspecting their true intent. They don't want you to fail because of them. They want you to fail despite them, creating a clean distance from your collapse, allowing them to appear innocent. This constant, unseen pressure bleeds your energy. It forces you to navigate a world where true support is rare and betrayal is camouflaged, draining your focus from genuine progress. Your trust erodes, not through a single dramatic event, but through 1,000 tiny, unprovable slights that leave you feeling perpetually off balance, unable to pinpoint the source of your unease. Ignoring these signs is a fatal mistake. It means you are giving power to those who wish you harm, allowing them to shape your reality from the shadows. Your progress slows, your resilience weakens, because you are fighting a ghost, a phantom enemy whose tactics are designed for plausible deniability. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What he understood is that the greatest obstacle is often not the external challenge itself, but our internal refusal to see the truth of it. To overcome, you must first acknowledge the unseen forces at play, to stop deceiving yourself about the nature of your relationships. The invisible blade is the quiet, constant pressure of someone working against your interests, but never in a way that can be directly challenged. It's the subtle exclusion from information, the forgotten email that costs you an opportunity, the oops mistake that consistently benefits them while hindering you. These are not coincidences, they are calculated moves. They will offer superficial support, just enough to keep you from digging deeper, just enough to make you doubt your own intuition. This deceptive front lowers your guard, making you vulnerable to their subtle manipulations and quiet sabotage. You walk into traps you never saw coming, because the trap setter was smiling at you. Your ambition, your peace, your resources, they are all under siege from these hidden forces. You cannot afford to remain naive, to believe that everyone around you truly wishes you well. That assumption is a weakness they will exploit without mercy. If you confront every perceived slight, every flicker of doubt, you will appear paranoid, creating open enemies where none might have existed. But if you ignore every sign of subtle malice, you become a willing victim, a pawn in a game you don't even know you're playing. The critical skill is discerning the invisible, separating genuine well-wishing from veiled contempt. This series will teach you to see these hidden blades, to read the subtle cues, the tells, the behaviors that scream, "I want you to fail," without uttering a single word. It will arm you with the vision to identify those who poison your well, silently and strategically. But how do you spot something specifically designed to be invisible? How do you defend against a silent killer whose weapon is plausible deniability? There are specific behaviors, dark signs that give them away, no matter how clever they think they are. What are these signals? We begin with the first, most common trap, one that will always reveal their true colors. Chapter 2: The Subtle Freeze. The subtle freeze, a silent weapon wielded by those who truly understand power. It's the calculated absence of warmth designed to make you question your very existence. The first signal they send, a weapon wielded with surgical precision, is what we call the subtle freeze. This isn't overt hostility, no shouted insult or direct challenge. It's the quiet withdrawal of warmth, the calculated absence of genuine engagement designed to deny you oxygen. This silent treatment starves your spirit, forcing you to doubt yourself and chase an approval that will never come. They understand an absence can be more potent than a presence. A loud enemy is obvious. A quiet, detached one forces you to walk on eggshells to chase a connection they deliberately withhold. This lack of emotional reciprocity drains you, isolating you and leaving you vulnerable. It's passive aggression meant to erode confidence without leaving a bruise. Watch what happens when you enter a room where this person is present. Their eyes meet yours, then quickly dart away. Their smile, if it appears, is thin, social, not reaching their eyes. When you speak, their responses are short, clipped, devoid of follow-up questions or genuine interest. They engage freely with others, laughing, sharing, connecting. But with you, there is a wall, an invisible barrier. This isn't shyness, it is intentional. They offer only the bare minimum interaction needed to avoid overt confrontation, maintaining plausible deniability. What Sigmund Freud understood is that the human mind rarely keeps a secret for long, even when the mouth is sealed. The body, the behavior, the subtle, tells often betray what the conscious mind tries to hide. This freeze is not accidental. It's a subconscious leak of their true feelings, disguised as mere indifference. Here's how you deal with it. Do not chase them. Do not try to win them over or explain yourself. The moment you pursue their warmth, you confirm their power, validating their game. Instead, observe the pattern and then mirror it. Match their energy precisely. Give them only what they give you, the bare minimum. Be polite but distant, professional but disengaged. Do not offer your genuine smile, your deep attention, your valuable time. Starve them of the connection they withhold. If you announce their subtle freeze, confronting them about their coldness, they will deny it. They will gaslight you, claiming you are oversensitive or imagining things. They will play the victim and you will look like the aggressor. This is precisely what they want. But if you quietly and consistently mirror their distance, there's nothing for them to fight, no accusation to deny. They will simply find themselves isolated, experiencing the very emotional chill they tried to inflict. You become a mirror, reflecting their empty gesture. Confucius once taught that a superior man acts before he speaks, and then speaks according to his acts. What he meant is, that true character reveals itself not in stated intentions, but in consistent, observable behavior. The subtle freeze is a behavior. It is an act. It speaks volumes without uttering a word. This strategy disarms them. It denies them the satisfaction of watching you chase approval, preventing them from draining your energy. You deny them the conflict they crave and the investment they gain from your emotional attention. You simply remove yourself from their game board. Remember, a lack of engagement is a form of engagement. It is a deliberate choice. You are not imagining it. They are choosing to disconnect from you. Your response must be equally strategic, equally precise. Understanding this calculated withdrawal saves you endless emotional labor, protecting your mental peace. But the subtle freeze is only one arrow in their quiver. There is another behavior, more insidious, more directly manipulative, used to covertly express disdain. What is this hidden tactic they employ to chip away at your standing without ever revealing their hand? Chapter 3. Poisoned Praise. Poisoned praise. It's a dagger cloaked in silk. We shall unmask this insidious weapon, dissect its tactics, and learn how to parry its subtle, destructive thrusts. The most insidious form of covert hostility is not the cold shoulder, but the subtle knife of poisoned praise. This is the backhanded compliment, the feigned support, the observation disguised as help that slowly, meticulously, chips away at your confidence and standing. It's designed to make you question your own abilities, to doubt your instincts, and to erode your reputation without ever making a direct accusation. Think about this. They compliment your work, but immediately follow it with a faint suggestion that it could be even better with a minor, often irrelevant tweak. They praise your success, then subtly remind everyone of the lucky break you had or the help you received, diminishing your agency. This isn't constructive criticism. It's a deliberate attempt to inject doubt into the minds of others, and more importantly, into your own. Watch what happens when you share good news. They might offer congratulations, but with a slight, almost imperceptible smirk or a tone that implies condescension. Perhaps they say, "That's great you finally pulled that off, after all the trouble you had." The praise is delivered, but the underlying message is a reminder of past struggles or perceived inadequacy, anchoring your achievement to a narrative of difficulty rather than inherent skill. This tactic thrives on plausible deniability. If you call them out, they can easily pivot. "I was just trying to be supportive," or "I thought you'd appreciate the honesty." They use the cover of well-intentioned feedback to plant seeds of insecurity. The genius of poisoned praise is that it forces you into a defensive position, making you appear overly sensitive if you react, yet leaving you wounded if you ignore it. What Socrates understood through his relentless pursuit of truth is that genuine self-knowledge cannot flourish under the shadow of pretense. He sought to expose false claims to wisdom, knowing that true understanding begins with recognizing one's own ignorance. When someone offers you praise steeped in falsehood, they are trying to obscure your true strengths, to make you doubt what is real, pulling you away from self-awareness. Here's how you disarm it. You acknowledge the superficial compliment with a bland, neutral expression, and you ignore the undermining qualifier entirely. Do not engage with the subtle jab. Do not explain yourself. Do not defend your position. Your silence, your lack of emotional response, denies them the satisfaction of seeing their poison take effect. If you rush to justify your actions or clarify your success, you validate their insinuation and give their attack power. But if you simply absorb the praise and move on, their subtle undermining hangs in the air, exposed as an empty gesture. It forces them to either escalate to overt hostility, revealing their true colors, or retreat, recognizing their tactic has failed. Imagine they say, "That presentation was surprisingly good, considering your lack of experience." Your response is a calm, "Thank you, nothing more." You don't address the surprisingly good. or the lack of experience. You accept the praise, discard the poison. The conversational ball is now back in their court, deflated. Observing the intricate dance of power in his time, understood that appearances are paramount, and perception can be engineered. He wrote that men are generally more taken by appearances than by reality itself. Poison praise is a masterful manipulation of perception, crafting an image of your supposed flaws even as it superficially commends your strengths. It's about controlling how you are seen by others and how you see yourself. They engage in this behavior because it allows them to maintain a perceived superiority without direct confrontation. It fulfills their need to diminish you, to keep you in a certain box, preventing your rise from threatening their own position. They are not interested in your growth. They are invested in your limitation. Sometimes this help comes in the form of feigned support, where they offer assistance, knowing it will hinder you, or provide advice that is subtly detrimental. They might volunteer to lighten your load by taking on a task, only to return it incomplete or late, making you look bad. They offer a solution that forces you to compromise your own standards, then point out the flaws in the result. The key is to recognize the pattern: consistent, subtle denigration, masked as support or observation. This isn't about healthy challenge, it's about a constant, low-level assault on your self-perception. Their goal is to make you think less of yourself, so others will too. You must build an impenetrable shield of self-awareness against these insidious attacks. Chapter 4. Strategic Omission. Strategic omission. The silent assassin. They don't need to lie if they can simply remove the ground beneath your feet. This calculated absence of truth, it isolates you. Beyond direct sabotage, a more subtle, equally destructive malice exists: strategic omission. This isn't about outright lies. It's the calculated absence of truth, the deliberate silence that leaves you exposed. They don't have to push you down if they can simply remove the ground beneath your feet. This isolates you, ensuring you miss crucial opportunities, making you appear less capable, all without a single negative word. The damage is slow, almost imperceptible at first. You find yourself behind on key developments, unaware of deadlines, or absent from crucial discussions. Your projects stall, initiatives falter, efforts yield diminished returns. They watch you struggle, offering no help, no hint, content to let you walk into a minefield they helped lay. This erodes your confidence, your standing, your future. Watch what happens when a critical project meeting is called, but your name is left off the invite list, or when a new company policy is announced, but you only hear about it through the grapevine days after others have adjusted. A promotion opportunity might arise, and they forget your strong track record or actively advocate for someone else. You are slowly cut out of the loop, made irrelevant by omission. Here's how you counter this insidious tactic. Cultivate your own independent intelligence network. Do not rely on any single source for critical information, especially not one showing past strategic omission. Cross-reference, confirm, triangulate every piece of data. Build relationships outside your immediate circle, creating alternative channels. Ensure you are never fully reliant on those who wish to see you fail. If you depend solely on official channels or direct communication from those who despise you, you will always be a step behind. But if you quietly establish parallel information streams, there's nothing they can withhold that you won't eventually uncover. They cannot control what they don't know you know. This is information arbitrage, where your advantage comes from possessing data they assume you lack. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, described how those chained in darkness perceive shadows as reality, unaware of true forms. What he understood is that your perception of reality and your ability to act effectively depends entirely on the information you receive. Those who control information control your world, trapping you in a lesser reality, where your potential remains unseen, your efforts misdirected. The person orchestrating strategic omission relies on your ignorance, on your assumption that information will flow freely. They count on you to be reactive, always chasing facts they deliberately keep. This puts you in a perpetually defensive posture, constantly playing catch-up, never able to get ahead or proactively shape events. Sun Tzu, the ancient master of strategy, famously wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." What he understood is that knowledge, especially about your opponent's intentions and methods, is the supreme weapon. When someone strategically omits information, they cloud your understanding of the battlefield, making it impossible to know yourself or your enemy fully. Your job is to pierce that fog. Think about the quiet power of simply being present, of showing up to spaces they hoped you would miss. Learn to read the room, pick up on nonverbal cues signaling important discussions without you. Develop a sixth sense for what isn't said, for gaps in conversations or sudden topic shifts when you approach. These are the subtle tells of strategic omission. Your counter-strategy involves making yourself indispensable in ways they cannot bypass. Create unique value, become the bottleneck for a critical skill or resource, so excluding you from discussions hurts their own goals. If they can't afford to leave you out, their strategic omissions become self-defeating. They will be forced to include you, not from respect, but from necessity. This requires you to be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for information. Go find it. Don't wait for an invitation. Make your presence felt where important decisions are made. Your goal is to dismantle their control over your information flow, to expose their calculated silences for what they are. Weapons aimed directly at your success. Turn their invisibility against them. But even when you navigate the treacherous waters of strategic omission, another hidden attack waits. One that doesn't just withhold information, but actively distorts the very truth of your contributions. What is it? Chapter 5, The Echo Chamber. The Whisper Campaign, a potent weapon. They don't fight you directly, but from the shadows, they dismantle your very being. Learn how your enemies will turn your own world against you. This is the poison of the echo chamber. They don't just want to control what you know, they want to control what others know about you. They shape perceptions, drowning out your true voice. This isn't direct confrontation, it's a slow erosion. They work behind the scenes, planting seeds of doubt, never direct accusations. They want you isolated, your influence neutralized. This strategy destroys you. It attacks your reputation, social capital, character. People question your motives, competence, integrity. Without a complaint, your allies grow skeptical, network shrinks. Every move is viewed with suspicion. You explain, defend, justify. The more you do, the deeper you sink into their fabricated reality. Watch what happens when a whisper starts. It's never "he's incompetent." It's "I heard he's having trouble keeping up." Not "she's dishonest." It's "I wonder if she shared all the details." These are soft suggestions, not hard claims. They invite speculation. They let others fill in the blanks until a negative image forms. They execute this silent assassination by identifying key individuals. Then they tailor specific concerns. To one, it's your reliability. To another, your ethics. To a third, your loyalty. Messages are vague, deniable yet impactful, delivered with feigned reluctance, sharing a sad truth. They understand damaging lies, are self-told, fed by a constructed narrative. Carl Jung understood that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. What he meant is that ignoring the shadow, whether your own or that cast by an enemy, only allows it to grow in power. When someone is working to isolate you, they are banking on your ignorance of their methods, your refusal to acknowledge the subtle poisoning of your reputation. This echo chamber doesn't just spread lies, it weaponizes perception. Your denials become proof, your explanations, desperation. You react to a phantom, giving it substance. Your attempts to clarify twist into defensiveness, confirming whispers. Your voice is lost. Think about the workplace. You are the one who always delivers the quiet engine. Projects you should lead are reassigned. Key meetings happen without your input. Colleagues, once friendly, offer curt replies or avoid eye contact. Your proposals, once welcomed, now die in silence. No direct accusation, only a pervasive chill, a sense something is off about you. The air shifts when you walk in. Laughter dies. This is the echo chamber at work. Your enemies didn't just spread a rumor. They built a climate of suspicion, brick by brick, whisper by whisper. Here's how you confront an echo chamber designed to isolate you. First, do not engage. Do not chase every whisper. Every explanation is a thread for them to twist. Silence is not weakness. It is refusal to validate their game. Instead, observe. Identify the architects, not just the repeaters. Who benefits? Who plants the first seed? Who waters it? These are your true adversaries. Second, build your own quiet resistance. You cannot scream louder than the echo. Cultivate independent sources of trust. Demonstrate competence through undeniable results, without fanfare. Focus on building impregnable relationships with those who value truth over gossip. These are the anchors. When the storm of whispers pulls you under, your independent verification. Third, understand the attack. It's not about truth, but control. Your enemy wants to control the narrative, how others see you. To break this, break the pattern. Stop reacting, start acting. Shift focus from defending your past to shaping your future. Let your actions, your undeniable successes, speak. This is not about winning an argument. It's about making the argument irrelevant. If you respond to every accusation, you play their game, on their terms, in their arena. You legitimize false claims by giving them attention. But if you ignore the noise and quietly build undeniable proof, there's nothing for them to fight. No fire to feed, no attention to weaponize. They are left shouting into their own void, their efforts seen as desperate. Socrates, facing a city turned against him by manipulation, understood that the greatest defense against false accusations is a life lived by principles, openly and consistently. He taught that true virtue cannot be undone by mere opinion. What he grasped is that your character, built through consistent action, is a fortress no whisper penetrates indefinitely. People may be swayed, but the truth of your consistent being eventually shines through fabricated shadows. You deny them the satisfaction of your public struggle. You starve the echo chamber of its oxygen, your reaction. Chapter 6. The Mockery Loop. The mockery loop, a subtle venom. They don't defeat you, they just make you irrelevant. We examine how these tiny cuts wound the soul and dismantle your power. The next sign they hate you is the mockery loop. This isn't overt insult, but a veiled joke or sarcastic remark. They imply your efforts, even your presence, are absurd. They attack your worth indirectly, with tiny cuts designed to make you doubt your sanity. This behavior slowly drains your self-regard. You anticipate the sneer. They don't need to defeat you in an argument if they convince everyone you're not worth one. Think of a meeting where your ideas met with a scoffing laugh and others look away, uncomfortable. Or at a social gathering, your stories are punctuated by playful jabs, commentary that drains their energy. This is a psychological tactic. It isolates you, makes you feel small, signaling you aren't taken seriously. They set a social boundary. This person is not respected. The trap is always your reaction. They bait you into defending yourself, into explaining their joke. Every engagement validates their attack, confirming their mockery got under your skin. You become the overly sensitive one, cementing their narrative. Here's how you break the loop. Deny the performance. Faced with mockery, your response is an absence of response. No laugh, no explanation, no defense, a flat stare, a slow blink, or simply turning your attention elsewhere. Refuse their game. Leave their joke unacknowledged. This silence is tactical, a refusal to validate their control. No reaction, their performance falls flat. Any audience senses the awkwardness. The mocker is exposed, their malice clear, they wanted a rise. You gave them dead air. Fools, desperate for approval, engage the mocker, thinking reason will win. They argue, plead, or even join the self-deprecating humor. All this reinforces the dynamic. It tells the mocker, I am vulnerable and I will work for your approval. The strategist knows you can't reason with someone seeking to undermine you. Respond with cold, unwavering self-possession. Project calm, revealing their efforts as clumsy. Your stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting their nastiness, not a target. Friedrich Nietzsche, who grasped human power dynamics, noted, he who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. Engaging petty mockery often drags you down. You risk becoming bitter, defensive, losing your dignity. Your long-term strategy: render their weapons useless. Consistently refusing their jabs trains them out of the behavior, the reward they seek. Your discomfort, your reaction, is never delivered. Eventually, they cease, like a dog at a door that never opens. This non-reaction recalibrates your social field. Observers see an immovable object, not a victim. They understand your value isn't determined by flimsy opinions. Your quiet resilience communicates strength, garnering unvoiced respect. Leonardo da Vinci, a keen observer of human nature, advised, nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. He understood silence, especially when provoked, is potent power. It signifies control, not weakness. It implies a mind too occupied with higher concerns to stoop to trivial engagements. The mockery loop thrives on your emotional response, your public vulnerability. Deny it that fuel. Greet their attempts with cold, unyielding silence. You reveal their malice, you take away their audience, their satisfaction, their power. They are left talking to themselves in an empty room. But sometimes hatred isn't hidden jabs, it's calculated sabotage, direct interference. This is a different war fought with actions to block your path. What does that look like? And how do you disarm a hidden saboteur? Chapter 7. The Zero-Sum Shadow. Beware the zero-sum shadow. It is the silent killer, the secret desire for your ruin. They win only when you fall. Recognize this venom or perish. The silent killer is the zero-sum shadow. This is the secret wish for your failure, where your loss is their invisible gain. They do not need to win for themselves, they only need you to fall. This deep-seated animosity poisons every interaction, creating a hidden battlefield where your progress is met with quiet resistance. They watch your efforts, not to cheer them on, but to calculate the precise moment to trip you up, to ensure your next step lands you in a pit. This secret hatred dismantles your ambitions from the inside. It manifests as missed opportunities, suddenly closed doors, or information that never quite reached you. They might forget to pass along a critical message, or subtly misrepresent your intentions to someone who matters. Their goal isn't direct confrontation, but the slow, methodical erosion of your standing. You find yourself constantly pushing against an invisible force, unable to pinpoint the exact source of the drag. Think about the times you shared good news, only to see a flicker of disappointment in their eyes, quickly masked by a forced smile. Your promotion is met with a lukewarm congratulations, followed by a story about their own minor setback. Your success becomes a mirror reflecting their own perceived failures. This isn't just envy. It's a belief that for you to rise, they must inevitably sink. Their world is a pie, and your slice threatens theirs. Here's how you identify the zero-sum shadow. Observe their reaction to your genuine wins. Do they deflect, diminish, or immediately shift the focus to themselves? Do they offer help? That subtly complicates your process or introduces unnecessary delays. They won't openly cheer your setbacks, but they will certainly not mourn them. Their empathy for your struggles will be conspicuously absent, replaced by a detached observation. To disarm this silent saboteur, you must cut off their supply line, your visibility. Do not broadcast your plans, your aspirations, or your triumphs to those you suspect. Keep your true ambitions guarded. Let your actions speak. Only when the outcome is already secured, when their opportunity to interfere has passed, you deny them the opportunity to rejoice in your potential downfall, and you remove their targets. If you announce your new project, they will whisper doubts into the ears of potential collaborators, or accidentally leak incomplete information. But if you quietly build, secure your resources, and only reveal the finished product, there is nothing for them to undermine. Their efforts to sabotage meet a wall of completed facts, leaving them no space to maneuver, no opportunity. They are left with only the empty satisfaction of their own malice. Aristotle understood the nature of human character, observing that we are what we repeatedly do. What a person repeatedly does, even in secret, reveals their true disposition. The zero-sum shadow repeatedly, subtly, works against your interests, not through grand gestures, but through consistent, small acts of undermining this pattern. Not a single instance is the true tell. What he understood is that character is built in the shadows, revealed in the light. When dealing with such a person, consider the strategies of Napoleon Bonaparte. He knew that, to defeat an enemy, you must first understand their true intentions and movements. Napoleon would often divide and conquer, or feign weakness to draw out an opponent. You must treat the zero-sum shadow not as a friend, but as a strategic opponent whose moves you anticipate and counter silently. You do not engage in their game, you change the board. Cultivate a small, trusted inner circle. Share your vulnerabilities and true ambitions only with those whose loyalty has been tested and proven. For everyone else, maintain a professional distance. You control the information flow. You decide who gets to see your progress and who only sees the final result. This creates a fortress around your endeavors, impenetrable to the silent attacks. They crave the satisfaction of your public failure. They want others to see you stumble, to confirm their private judgment of you. Deny them this spectacle. Achieve your goals with quiet determination. Let your results speak for themselves, without prior fanfare or detailed explanations. This robs them of their audience, their fuel, and the performance they so desperately desire. Their shadow loses its power when there is no light to cast it. This approach transforms their hidden malice into a self-defeating exercise. They expend energy trying to stop what they cannot see or what has already happened. Their animosity becomes a drain on their resources, not yours. Chapter 8. The Silent Defense. Invisible chains. They bind you, unseen, forged by the quiet malice of others. Learn to break them, not with force, but with the silent defense. The animosity you deflect becomes their own burden, not yours. It bleeds their time, their focus, and their peace, trapped in a futile struggle against an opponent that refuses to engage on their terms. This is the true power of the silent defense. You have learned to see the veiled attacks, the strategic retreats, the hollow praise. These are not isolated incidents, but parts of a single hidden war waged against your progress. They represent a secret current beneath the surface, constantly trying to drag you down. This quiet malice, left unchecked, creates invisible chains around you. It drains your focus, distorts your reality, and forces you into reactive stances you cannot win. You become a puppet dancing to a song only your enemies can hear. But there is a counter, a silent defense that renders their covert operations impotent. This is not about fighting back, it's about making them fight nothing at all. You become a ghost to their aggression, present but untouched. Here's how you build this shield. You map their patterns, you catalog their inconsistencies, their sudden absences, their backhanded compliments. This data is your intelligence, your quiet weapon against their unseen war. Then, you manage their access. You restrict the information they receive, the opportunities they can exploit, the proximity they have to your true ambitions. Nothing leaks, nothing drains. Everything compounds in your favor as you seal them out. What Seneca understood is that true power lies in the refusal to be disturbed. He wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." You don't engage their petty provocations, you delay your reaction indefinitely or simply offer none. This robs them of their desired performance and their energy. Think about the energy they expend planning your subtle downfall. Watch what happens when their carefully placed obstacles vanish, not because you fought them, but because you simply moved past them before they solidified. Their efforts return to them, wasted with no explanation. This is not about making them your friend, as some naive fools might suggest. Abraham Lincoln faced enemies he knew could not be reconciled, and he understood that neutralizing an adversary often meant making their opposition irrelevant. He focused on his own path, letting their malice exhaust itself on air. You make their hatred functionally useless. Your silent defense transforms their active malice into their own passive self-destruction. They burn their own fuel, waste their own time, and erode their own peace, trying to impact a target that refuses to be hit. There's nothing to grab, nothing to break, no visible victory for them. The ultimate victory is not a shouted triumph, but a quiet, sustained descent. They watch from the shadows, their teeth gnashing, as you build, grow, and transcend the limits they tried to impose. Their hatred becomes a testament to your unyielding trajectory, not a hindrance. You have the tools now, you see the signs, you understand the strategy. Your path forward is clear, clean, and unburdened by their noise. Observe, plan, then eliminate the threat, not with a bang, but with the chilling silence of their absolute irrelevance.